In this video, I'm going to talk about the best Ahrefs alternatives, what your options are, the different tools available, pricing. I'm going to cover this video more from my experience and my perspective. It's not going to be a full in-depth analysis of every feature of every tool, more so how I use the various tools and what things I think are important and which tools are out there as alternatives. So right off the bat, we'll look at just pricing and plans. So if we go to Ahrefs here, we can see the three core plan levels they offer. And most of the SEO tools now are going to be pretty similar in terms of getting a certain number of projects, different data points, different tools that are available in the different tiers. So SEMrush is another popular choice that's always can be compared directly to Ahrefs. We can see again their plan levels here. We can see the entry level plan slightly higher. The standard plan is even, and then we have the advanced plan that's basically even. Now, just because the pricing and the tiers are equal doesn't necessarily mean the features are. So if we look at the base plan, we get 5 projects, we get 5. We can see how many keywords we get, reporting results, so a little bit more keywords, and you can sort of compare feature to feature. Another great option is SE ranking. So this one going to be a little more cost effective. And we can see their entry level plan starts at $52. So it's going to be less of an entry point. And then their pro plan is $95 when on an annual subscription. If you go month to month, we can see the pricing there. A lot of these tools are going to have different annual pricing versus month to month. I'd say start out month to month and use the tool for a little bit. And if it's something that's core to your business that you're going to continue to use, then it's worth it to switch to an annual plan. Again, we can see the different project amounts, the different features we get at different plan levels with SE ranking, SEMrush, and Ahrefs. So right off the bat, that's what I would look at. But in terms of like what the tools look like, I want to pull up some examples and how you can use these. So we'll start with just pulling up Ahrefs here. So if we go to my Ahrefs accounts and we log in, we'll see we have a few different tools. One of the most common methods is going to be using the Site Explorer. All 3 of these tools have their own version of Site Explorer. So we'll cover that. One thing that's important to note as well, the only other thing I want to throw into this is AppSumo could be a great option. So on AppSumo, you get lifetime software deals. So if I type in SEO, I could see which SEO platforms are offering a lifetime deal. This could be a great way to just get a tool and not have a monthly expense. Now, some of these tools come and go. And some of them end up being good tools that continue to be upgraded. Sometimes these kind of fizzle out. So it is hit or miss, but you'll always see various SEO tools here. Like if we click on this one, I haven't looked at this one at all, but looks to be like they're telling you it's an alternative to Ahrefs and SEMrush and SE ranking. And we can kind of see what it does. But again, you pay one time and you get lifetime access to a tool like this. So I would say if you're an agency, having an SEO tool is important. If you're a business owner and you own a small business or a local business, you may not even need a tool. So that's kind of the first question to ask yourself is why do you need the tool and do you actually need one? If you're an agency, I would say yes, you're working on clients, you're going to need data, you're going to need to be able to pull these reports, so you will need one of these tools. If you're a business owner, you might be able to get by on the free tools that Google gives you, which would be Google Analytics, Google Search Console, Google Ads, Google Business Profile. That might get you enough data and enough of the things you need to do SEO at a high enough level to get results. So you may not need to invest in a monthly tool. If you're an agency, you're going to need to choose a tool and invest in one. So this could be a good option if you're just getting started, you don't have a lot of clients yet, and you want to kind of keep costs low. Going into AppSumo, buying a one-time lifetime deal can get you going. And then once you have some recurring revenue, that's where I would start to look into one of these 3 core tools. Now within Ahrefs, we'll just put my website in as an example, and we'll go to Site Explorer. We'll do the same thing in SEMrush. SEMrush calls it domain overview. So I'm going to search the website, and we'll do the same thing in SE ranking. In SE ranking, we're going to go to research, and we're going to go to overview. And then we are going to punch in my website here that I want to analyze. And again, now we can see this core reporting in all 3 tools. So Ahrefs will give us a snapshot of just key data points related to SEO. SEMrush has their own version of that here. And then SE ranking has their version of that here. All similar data points that you can get access to. You could even switch countries. In Ahrefs, we could do a similar thing. Over here, we can get our countries and location reporting. and we can switch as well. If we go to SEMrush, we can do a similar thing as well and see country reporting right here in the distribution. Could also change it up at the top here. So that's kind of the first thing, just getting initial data. All three of these tools will get you that. Then you'll see additional reporting. Each of these three tools have their own kind of overview dashboard. So if we start with Ahrefs, we could see Ahrefs, you can select a metric and you could sort of build out these visualizations. I could change the time period. So I could do zoom out and do last 2 years. I could change the aggregation. So now we're gonna see weekly trends or daily. If we're doing a long-term analysis, I prefer monthly. We could see different reporting on location, on keyword intent, backlink data, a variety, competitor data, a variety of reporting here. SEMrush is gonna give you their own version of that, where again, I can select time periods for organic traffic. I could see keywords. I could play with filters and say I only want to see first page keywords, which would be these. How are those trending? I could see exactly what my top keywords are, and there's links to more in-depth reporting, an intent report, this competitor positioning one I like, and then you could also get paid ads reporting. If we go to SE ranking, we're going to get similar things. So I have traffic, keywords, traffic cost trends. I can change the time period again right here. So you have all of those options. This one overlays some Google updates in there, which is interesting to see if anything has increased or decreased around that time. If we go back to this report, you'll see SEMrush has a similar feature. Then Ahrefs as well, if we hover over these, has that feature as well. So this is going to be kind of your home base just to get some initial data. What I like to do with all these tools is look at the actual keywords. So this report, each of the tools will show you all the keywords your website or a competitor website is ranking for. They all will give you search volume, difficulties, ranking data, all that key data that you're going to want to see. If we go to SEMrush and I go to the top organics keyword report, this is going to show me, again, same type of data. Each tool kind of has their own spin on how it's laid out. They all have filtering capabilities, their own metrics. So again, the common metrics are going to be the keyword, the position you're ranking, volume, difficulty. This one's even estimating how much traffic we're getting and then what the URL is. If we go to SE ranking, I can get that same reporting. If we go to the organic keyword report here, now this is going to load a report that shows me exactly which keywords I'm ranking for, difficulty, position, volume. All the tools now are starting to do search intent, which is nice, just to quickly gauge the intent behind the keyword. SERP features is also nice, just to know kind of what's on the first page. Because now it's not enough really just to rank in the organic listings. You really want to be targeting a lot of these SERP features as well. So this can give you some of that data and then the actual URL that's being pulled through. So another common use case for these tools is to check backlinks. So if we go to I'm gonna go to referring domains. That's the way I prefer to look at it, which will be the unique websites that are linking to either me or a competitor. I think a lot of the value in this report is looking at competitors, because you can get your own backlink data in Search Console, Google's tool, but to get your competitors, you need a tool like this. So this tool will show you all the websites that are linking to you. If we go to SEMrush, we can get that same data. Let's go back to the domain overview report and we'll look up some backlink data now. So again, we can click on referring domains here, and that's going to take me into that referring domain report. This is going to give me all of the websites that are linking to me, how many backlinks I have, when it was first and last seen. So again, you can sift through this. You could sort it a lot of different ways. I really like exporting out of these tools and working directly in Google Sheets. But if I'm doing quick analysis, I'll do that right here. So if we go back on this one and we go to the analysis section, again, you could also just go right to the backlink section to go right to these reports, but sometimes just interacting with this dashboard can get you to these reports a little quicker. So this is going to take us to our referring domains report. And again, I'm going to get a lot of different data points here. I'm going to see anchor text, the breakdown of countries, the domain scores, trust scores on my backlinks here as well. I'm going to click on the referring domains so I can see here's the exact referring domains, trust scores, traffic scores, and how many backlinks I have from each website. So again, the key is like putting in competitors here and taking a look at where they're getting backlinks. So then you could also try and get those backlinks as well. So you could go deeper on backlinks. You could look at anchor text reporting in all of these tools. You can get that in all three of those tools. They'll all give you that data. So You'll see here, anchor text, top pages, backlinks, you get all of that there. Same thing here. If I go into the navigation, I can get anchors, backlinks, and all of those different metrics. So those are kind of some of the biggest ways you're going to use these tools. Now, they all have in-depth keyword research tools. So if I go to Keyword Explorer in Ahrefs, and then I go to Keyword Overview, and if we go back to SE ranking, what we're going to do is research, and then keyword research, and then we're going to start at overview. Now, for keyword research tools, what I want to be able to do is input some seed keywords and then inform my research on additional keywords that I might not have thought of, and then get the data points behind each one. So for this example, we're going to do, let's do SEO reports as a keyword. What this will do is it'll run this overview report. Now I'm going to run this on all three tools. And a lot of times choosing a tool comes down to pricing and preference. All three of these tools, and even the tools you'll find on AppSumo, can all get you a lot of this data. It's really just getting used to the interface and where things are, and then you'll get faster and more efficient at using these tools. So you can make all of these work. If the tool fits your budget, you like the reporting. I like some of the visuals here, so I can screenshot some of these and include these in client reports. That's one thing I look for in a tool. But really what I'm looking for is, does it have all the data I need? And is it priced right, where it's efficient? So as long as you get used to it, you can make any of these tools work. Now, if we look at the overview reports, you'll see a lot of these tools will give you a keyword difficulty score. They'll give you how many searches are happening per month. This is what I really like, is these related keyword reports, which we're going to look at. And I really like when we can get the actual search results and see data broken down for the search results, so I can analyze what I need to do to actually rank for this keyword. If we go to SEMrush, you'll see similar metrics. I have my volume, my difficulty. We have the country breakdown. We have some trends here. Here's my keyword ideas reporting, where I have a couple of different ways to get ideas. And then here is my search result, where I can break down some different metrics to see what's the top 10 doing to actually rank for this keyword. I can even see some ad data as well. If we go to SE ranking, same kind of thing. I have my key metrics at the top. Then I have my keyword ideas reporting, which there's 3 different levels of that. Then we have our SERP overview, which is going to break down the top 10 articles. And then we can figure out what we need to do to actually rank for this keyword. We could also see advertising data as well, which is really helpful to kind of see what ads your competitors are running. And then we can even see some ranking changes to start to see like who's increasing and who's decreasing over time. So all 3 of these tools have the core keyword data you're going to need to make some decisions on keywords you want to target. Now, I really like the keyword ideas report. So for all of these, we'll click through onto keyword ideas. There's also the same report, but question based. So if you want question keywords, go here. If you want all of the variations, go here. Same thing here. We have related, we have questions, and we have similar. I like to use similar personally. And this is going to help me find all the keywords related to SEO reporting. Now, I like to export out of the tool, get it into a Google Sheet and format it and work with it there. Some people I know work with multiple tools and they'll pull data from multiple tools. I don't find that necessary. I usually like to just stick with one. Whichever tool I'm working out of is going to be where I export, and then I kind of format it in the Google Sheet and filter the way I want to. Now, you can filter right in these reports. So there's a lot of ways to filter. You could save, you could see different metrics. We could filter here by search volume, by difficulty. You can see the additional filters you can use. This is pretty handy of getting like subtopics. So if I want to see all the SEO reporting keywords that are related to templates, I can click on this and now I can get that. And these could be really good ideas for me to create some templates. If I go to Ahrefs, I'm going to get that similar feature here where I can click on the word template or the subtopic here and pre-filter this. SEMrush has their version of that. Again, I can click here and now have this filtered and get the exact keywords related to the topic I care about. So this can be, if there's a lot of keywords, this could be a quick way to sift through the data. If we go back here, again, you could use this left menu. You also have the option for filtering up top, which does help as well. But this is one of the features I really like to just quickly get subtopics nailed down. We can quickly see search volume trends, which are good to see, and some of the other metrics. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. It is a core keyword tool. You'll see tools like SE ranking have tons of other keyword tools you can use. So there's autocomplete, search volume checker, this grouping tool, which will try to group keywords into similar topics. A lot of different keyword tools you can use. SEMrush is going to have different ones as well. We could look here and see related, suggestions, add data, a lot of different ways to break that down. SEMrush is also going to give you some additional keyword research tools here. So then we get to the projects features. So a lot of these tools will allow you to set up clients as projects. What the project does, and we'll just click into this one here, it allows you to set up different reporting like site audits, keyword rank tracking. You can see this one has audits that are running. So the project feature, if we go to this one, is a nice way to do that, to have automated reports scheduled, and then you can dig through those reports on a monthly basis. Let's just pull up one of my websites here, and we can see the project breakdown. So I get a different dashboard here. If we look at these, this is the site audit, so we'll look at that, but I get a different project overview dashboard. Here's the site audit in SEMrush. In SE ranking, again, I get my projects reporting. I can go to the overview here, and this is going to pull up my overview reporting where it gives me some snapshots on my domain. What I like about SE ranking is they have sort of these suggestions that you can quickly do, like check for issues, check your rankings, see who your competitors are. But this is a dashboard here. This will allow me to integrate my Search Console and my Google Analytics. SEMrush and Ahrefs have some similar features. But this is a nice way to build out clients and to get all of these detailed reports that continually run. Now, rank tracking is something you can do right in these tools. So again, you could input target keywords and it's going to give you all your ranking data. All three tools have a feature like this. I really like the content score here because it's actually analyzing my content, the page that I'm actually ranking with. And if I see a low score, that could be an indication I need to update that article, and we can see the rankings. If we go in SEMrush and we want to go to the rank tracking reporting, what we're going to do is we'll go back to this project. Okay, this one doesn't have position tracking set up, so I'll show a different one. I'll show one that I think does have it set up. Let's do this one, and let's click through. And then here we can get our keyword tracking data. And this is actually the organic research. Let's see if I have keyword tracking set up on this one. So let's go back to project overview. So now I'm in the domain overview reports, which are just reports you can get without even setting those up. Let's go to this one here. Let's see if we have some position tracking. So we have our site audit, and here we go. So we do have some position tracking set up. It's going to load an overview report here, which will pull in different data points. I could change the date range. While that one's loading, I'll pull up the Ahrefs version of that. If we go back to dashboard, and we go to our projects here, we can go to tracked keywords. And this is going to get us our inputted keyword tracking. So these are specific keywords we're tracking. We could see ranking changes, which is nice just to see progress on those and to see performance. So if we go back to SEMrush here, I'm going to click View Full Report, and this will pull up the keyword tracker. And let's let this load. And essentially, though, while this is loading, it's going to be a very similar report that's going to show keyword tracking, ranking data, and all of that. So you can get the same thing in this tool. I think the larger thing I want to show is the technical audits. So in the technical audit, the site audit tools, this will start to break down some issues with your website that you may want to look at. So if we do, let's see if that website's in there. I'll just do this one, and then an SE ranking. Let's go to the technical audit tool here. So I'm going to go to project overview. Again, you can go right to the audit tool right here. You can also look at the performance overview here, and you can access your website audit report here. So SEMrush will give you this overview dashboard that has some good visuals you could input. You could also click into what they're calling errors and warnings and notices. That's how they're grouping things. So if I click on issues, this will now break down some of the issues it found with my website. So I could see 2 that are being marked errors, 4 that are warnings, and 5 that are notices. A lot of these tools too, if you hover over here, will give you some definitions and what these things are and how to fix them. If we look at Ahrefs, we'll get our dashboard that has all the overview reporting. And then there's different subsections of the reporting here. There's the issues report here, which will break down what the issues are that Ahrefs found. Now, with these tools, they're not always actual things you need to fix. So you do need to sort through them and dig through them and figure out which of these are actually worth fixing. Just because it's labeled in a tool doesn't mean it's an actual issue that's worth investing time and resources into, but it's a great way to just know. Also, the health scores are kind of nice just to show clients. So again, in SE ranking, I get all my data here. I get my dashboard. I have some visuals I could put into a larger audit report if I want to. I can break down, again, errors, warnings, notices. If I click view all issues, and I can start to see what the issues are. A lot of these tools will let you dig in and see the exact pages that have the issue. So I have a mixed content issue. You see some crawling issues. There's categories here to break things down. Like let's do meta tags. So here's the issues with my meta tags. It's saying we have some duplicate page titles. Again, these are paginated blog pages, so I'm not too worried about that, but it's good to kind of know which of these we need to fix. So this can give you really anything you need for technical auditing. So those are kind of the core ways I use these tools. I typically will use the domain overview to research competitors. I'll use keyword tracking overview reports and rank tracking in the projects. I'll set up my clients with projects so I have recurring reports. We'll set up these technical audits just so we have an automated way to flag any issues that pop up. And then really these tools are more about what you actually do with the data. So all three of these tools will give you the data you need to undergo an SEO campaign. It really comes down to knowing how to use that data and make decisions and drive results with it. You can use any of these tools to do that. I think, again, the decision on which tool to go with comes down to kind of user interface. Which tool do you feel more comfortable with? Which tool do you like the visuals and the reporting and the way they explain things? And then pricing. Which tool fits the budget you have? A lot of this is that when you get used to a tool, it's hard to switch because you just know where everything is. So that's one of the challenges of switching tools, but you can really get by with any of these tools. Even on AppSumo, I've purchased tons of software off AppSumo, and especially if you don't want recurring fees, you can find some SEO tools that can get you started and get you the data you need for your campaign. So again, I would always ask, like, first question is, do you need a tool? And there might be situations where the free tools that Google gives us are enough. If you decide you need a tool, I would then look at pricing and then just usability and which tool you think is simple enough for you to be able to use and get the value out of it. So I actually use all these tools. At my agency, we have subscriptions to just about every tool. I like to stay up to date and like to know what features and make sure I'm used to all the tools. You don't need to do that. I think for most people, you're better off just picking one and then using that tool, getting really familiar with it. Because one of the things you'll notice, if you have Google Sheets templates that you use, like if we look at this one here, which is like a competitor analysis template, this tool is going to be formatted for one of the tools. So like this export came from SE ranking. I can get the same data in Ahrefs and SEMrush, but I'm going to have to change my columns and I'm going to have to change the formatting. So that's why when you pick one tool, it's very easy to export the data into a preset Google Sheet because you know what the columns are, you know how it's laid out. And it just speeds up the efficiency when you're redoing a lot of the deliverable work as an agency. So that's why it does typically make sense to use one tool and then build all your systems and all your templates around the data from that tool. It's going to give you a lot of efficiency. If you switch tools every time, you have to create a brand new Google Sheet almost every single time. So that's kind of my recommendation. Pick one of the tools, go with that. Like I said, I use all three, but I would pick one that fits your budget. All three of these will give you enough data to do a high-level SEO campaign and get results, which at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do here. So if you have any specific questions about any of the tools, feel free to send me a message or drop a comment on this video, and I'll give my opinion on any of the questions that are asked.